is Umar Aiman, and I'm currently a final year student under business administration. And I started Food Bank back in late 2018, actually very late, around November 2018, where I drafted the proposal to start the food bank. Initially, it was actually just a food pantry because at that time it was just me, where I planned to start basically like a small initiative to help the less fortunate student, to give them some food assistance. At that time, it was just a very simple idea. Basically, like maybe at that time I thought I want to give like a breakfast basically for students who need them. Then I drafted the proposal and then I basically sent it to the HEP, the however pelajar in English is student affair department. So basically I sent the proposal and then they asked me to send initially I sent a draft proposal and then they asked me to send a complete proposal. So basically you have this type of work that I need to do. So that's what I did after that. And then I got a call from the student welfare officer, Encik Mizra Hilmi. We discussed about it and then he basically liked the idea and then he said, why don't you actually make like a food bank, because they have a space at JPS where we currently are located, the food bank. And at the same time, we also have this opportunity to work with the government back then, Pakatan Harapan under the Food Bank Siswa and Food Bank Malaysia. So basically, it's a matter of coincidence and a very good timing. We end up launching the Food Bank officially in March 2019, last year. And he has been going ever since, until the MCO, this happened, the coronavirus. Before I got into UM, I was from matriculation. I was in Johor Matriculation College. And actually when I came into Johor, to put into context, I was from Subang Jaya, Malaysia. And I was basically living in this middle class neighborhood. So I was pretty sheltered from the reality, basically I wasn't exposed to the life of those of the less fortunate until I got into college. So when I was in Johor, I actually saw like some student that really struggles to get access to food, basically. And that kind of like piqued my interest because it kind of like made me curious, like the state of these students, and realized there's this things that's going on where there are a group of students who can afford to have a decent meal every day. And then when I came into UM as a bachelor student, I realized that this same issue is actually happening as well at the university level. And then I did some research, basically to look at this, whether or not it's something that only happens in a very small context or a very small environment, or is this something that happens in other places as well. And turns out it actually happened in other places as well. And they have a term that they call it campus hunger. So basically, campus hunger is study, usually university student, college student, who are struggling with hunger issues. But maybe I can help them. At that time, was just, like I said, a simple idea. I just want to help. At that time, maybe like just give like a breakfast. So that's the inception of how I got the idea to start the initiative. The most obvious is manpower. It was just me, basically, when I first started. And again, because the idea was a very small one, the initial plan was a very small one. But then after I received the encouragement from HEP, I can actually create a much bigger come up with a much bigger version of the existing idea. Obviously, I need manpower. So that was the first one. So the first early committee members during the first semester of 2019, because we officially launched on March 2019. So that semester itself, pretty much most of them are all my own friends, or my acquaintances. So their backgrounds are basically from the business and accountancy faculty. Um, so at that time, it was just me just asking people, my friends and my peers, about them joining in. So it was really up to their own discretion if they want to accept it. So it was very fortunate that they actually wanted to join. And then the second is obviously funding as well. This one also, um, to give you an example how much money we need at least 15,000 ringgit per semester when we help the students. So obviously for something like that's initially was supposed to be a small project to suddenly needing 5 figure per semester, funding definitely comes in as a problem. So the good thing is that when I started this in there's this advantage that is also part of the project somehow. In fact, they actually take responsibility to be part of this project, a student project. So, for example, our VC, he was basically very encouraging. He encouraged students to start their own project. Would give a hand if they need one. So when I started this project, basically HEP also helps in attracting sponsors and donors. So as a result, we were able to raise enough funds to help the students. At the same time, we were also able to actually master the workforce and manpower needed to actually run the food bank. And yeah, that's about it. It is still a challenge now, as it is then, regarding manpower and also funding. But that's how we actually come to solve the problem at that time. Yeah. We are committed to help the student, the beneficiaries for the entire semester. So how we help the student? Initially, we actually work with HEP to get to retrieve this personal information of the student. So obviously, personal information of the student is a matter of PNC, private and confidential. So, but again, because we're under and HEP, to be more precise, and the VC itself gave us permission, we get this special permission where we get to see the students' personal information, particularly their income, basically their background. So how we come up to this is that HEP gave us this list of students with their income, their family income, their status of their guardian, whether or not they are working or not working, and then some other criteria, some other information. And then from this, we basically select the student that we feel, that we believe qualified to receive the aids that we're going to give them. And when we basically come up with this criteria, like for example, okay, this student need to earn 1,000 ringgit per month, like the household need to earn 1,000 ringgit per month or less. And then maybe they have a lot of siblings. The number of dependents must be more than one, for example. So this criteria, once they fit in this criteria, we will contact them personally, and then we will inform them that they qualify to be our beneficiaries. So once they qualify to be our beneficiaries for that particular semester, we actually create this Google form, where this Google form is like something like an online ordering system, where they get to actually select the food that they want. And then once they select the food that they want, we would then basically pre-package this food inside a grocery bag. So this grocery bag comes in the form of a paper bag, the brown paper bag, the big one. So, and then we will inform him to come and collect the bag. So we will give him an ID, which he can come in. inform the volunteer his special ID, so that we can identify whose bag belong to who. And then we repeat that process for another month, because the student that will receive this bursary bag once every month. So one semester you have 3 months and a half. So usually they receive around 3 times per semester. So that's how we go about the process. For suppliers, when we first started, at that time, what happened was the Malaysian government, they had this Food Bank Malaysia initiative and Food Bank Siswa. So their objective was to implement food bank in education institution. So they actually came into UM at that time, and they wanted to establish a food bank, which we were already at that time were doing. So UM basically just partner us up with them. So the role of this government agency, the Food Bank Malaysia, is to connect us with retailers and all these corporate donors that could donate or sponsor this food assistance mostly. So one of our sponsor was Tesco. So what Tesco did was they actually supply us with food aids in terms of non-perishable food items. They actually gave us. They were committing to us for 2 months. For 2 semesters at that time. And then there was also other donors as well, corporate donors that comes in and then give. So they usually will contact UM, and then UM will relay to us. So we'll deal with them accordingly. So that's how we actually get our supplies, mostly from corporate sponsors. And then there's few others, public donation, but because we rely heavily on corporate, we don't actually like continuously ask for donation from the public, because the corporate sponsor already like cover most of the supply that we need for that semester, and then for the next semester as well. I remember back in the first semester, from February 2019 until June, we have helped over 700 students, because at that time our programs were actually, we had 3 programs actually with during the first semester of food bank begin its operation. We have the food bank, the one at KPS. We have food rescue, a program that we did with Kushara Soup Kitchen, where we took food from nearby retailers, the one that is wasn't being sold. So we saved the food, basically we rescue the food and then give it to students. And then another one is a food kitchen. So basically, they actually cook food at UM, and then they distribute the food weekly every Thursday to selected KKs, because there are some KKs that have higher percentage of less fortunate student or low income student. So that was 3. So the first semester was we had that much student that we assisted, 700 plus. But then on the second semester, we actually decreased it to only 200 students, about 200 students, because during the first semester we were overstretching ourselves. We were basically handling 3 different projects, and at that time our manpower was very little, and we kind of like basically do more than what the food bank was supposed to do. So on the second semester, we basically only help we only operate within the physical premise of the food bank, which is in KPS. So we help 200 students, and these 200 students are basically the same students that receive the benefit, the assistance throughout the semester. If you want to be a part of a meaningful experience where you would genuinely be helping people. Food bank is one of it. I mean, among other organizations that you want to join. Um, it also helps to empathize with the state of the student and gives you better understanding of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, it's only when you experience the thing you really get the full understanding of the nature of things that's happening. So yeah, that will be it.